morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Greater Naples. We are excited to have you here in the sanctuary and in Thomas Hall and around the world, I think, this morning as we stream live. My name is Tony Fisher. I'm the minister here. Whether you're a member of the congregation and have been so for a long time, or whether this is your first time here, you are very, very welcome. We're glad to have you. The Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Greater Naples is a welcoming congregation freely seeking intellectual and spiritual growth. We strive to create a larger community of peace, justice, and love. Each of us is encouraged to grow spiritually in fellowship with others by joining in worship and celebration, participating in the educational possibilities here, by reflection and discussion. We strive to do all this in the spirit of acceptance and love and commitment to one another. We invite all of you, whether you're here for the first time or have been here forever, to join us for refreshments after the service on the other side of those glass partitions and out on the patio. We'd love to engage you in conversation. Today we are especially excited to have with us members of the Lehigh Children's Choir. They're right here, who will sing for us today under the direction of Candace Sunby. You'll have information about that group in the order of service. Now, I told these guys this morning that some services here at UUCGN are like an orchestra concert. You know, everything is highly orchestrated, all the parts are fitting together, and sometimes it's sort of like a tightrope. So if we fall off, you'll let us know. I have a couple of special announcements that folks are going to bring. First, I'll introduce Russ Duggan, and then Joanne Swank. So, Joanne, if you start to make your way down here, and while Russ is speaking, I'll turn the microphone over.
Good morning. I'm Russ Duggan, and along with Betsy DeJamos and Bill McCormick, we are your stewardship team for this year's campaign of generosity. Stewardship is about taking care of something we value and enabling it to grow, which is written into our congregation mission statement that Tony just read. The annual stewardship campaign, which we prefer to call the Campaign of Generosity, which is taking place over the next couple of weeks, is the funding path to make our mission not only to survive, but to thrive. Stewardship is not just about keeping the staff paid and the lights on. It's about having the financial freedom to create a vibrant response to our mission for our members and our community at large, through programs, social justice events, and fellowship. All that takes resources, and as we grow and our interests and programs grow, more resources are required as well. We are pleased to announce that our campaign of generosity has kicked off with over a 15% increase from the volunteer leadership of the congregation, including the Board of Trustees and the stewardship team. You should also know that Tony and Ann are leading the way with an increase of 37%. We encourage each of you to think about what this church means to you and to be most generous with your pledge. In the words of Mother Teresa, to keep a lamp burning, you have to keep putting oil in it.
As Joanne makes her way down, I have a couple of other things to remind you of. There's sign-ups today for the home-hosted dinners, the silent auction that's taking place on the patio, and also sign-ups for our new photo directory. Please sign up for that. I love to have photos of people so I can memorize names and get to know you better. So Joanne, please come up.
Good morning and welcome, everybody. I just want to say thank you for your generous attention to all of the easel charts that have been around the church lately, our 2020 Vision Task Force Committee has placed them there. Your written postings onto the easel charts have been very interesting and insightful. As you may have guessed, we are at the brainstorming piece of this process in trying to determine what might materialize into some forward and innovative changes that could evolve for all of us here at UUCGN. Now, brainstorming, I'm a teacher, so brainstorming is a form of free thinking of ideas and then getting them down on paper. Please remember that everything will be considered. Don't be hesitant nor inhibited to write down your ideas on the easel charts, even if you may feel that your idea may not be very interesting or important. You know what I'm saying. Because a subset of brainstorming is piggybacking. Your ordinary idea may be a springboard for some other person to write down an inspiring twist to your idea. Get the picture? So we're like catalysts for one another. So if you have not written down anything on our easel charts, please try to find your way to one of them this morning. They are all out there on the wall that runs parallel to the patio, otherwise known as the memorial wall. So please give it a thought. We will still have them around here for another few Sundays. Now, the children. Where are all the children? Okay. For the RE children who come here every morning or every Sunday morning, we encourage you to share your ideas too. Maybe the older RE kids could help the youngers to get their ideas written down on the charts. My past experience has taught me that children have a lot of wonderful ideas, so please share them with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Joanne. All your ideas are welcome. Be bold. Share your vision of this place with the rest of us, and let's see what happens. I now invite our guest, the Lehigh Children's Choir, to come up and start the service.
Good morning. We are the Lehigh Children's Choir, and we are so grateful for this wonderful invitation. Richard Bosworth extended his wonderful invitation, and I said, oh, we would love to do that. And we have traveled, believe it or not, about 52 miles to get here, and we're thrilled to be here.
Grant us peace, give us courage. Perfect words to begin our intergenerational Martin Luther King Day service. And we open with words from Martin Luther King Jr. We are now faced with the fact that tomorrow is today. We are confronted with the fierce urgency of now. In this unfolding conundrum of life and history, there is such a thing as being too late. This is no time for apathy or complacency. This is a time for vigorous and positive action. And so I invite you to be vigorous and positive as we sing our opening hymn, This Little Light of Mine, and we will bring our Unitarian Universalist congregation banner in as we sing. Please rise and join in singing hymn number 118.
Our chalice lighting words this morning are adapted from a poem entitled "Peace" by the pupils of Lincoln School in New York City. Peace means beginning of a new world. It means love and friendship. It is the world's dream of dreams. Peace brings comfort and happiness. It brings bread to the hungry. It brings prosperity to the nations. Peace means the strong respect the weak, the great respect the small, the many respect the few. Peace is quiet and calm. It is rest. It is silence after a storm. Please join me in the chalice lighting response that is printed in your order of service. Peace is not merely a distant goal that we seek, but a means by which we arrive at that goal.
So I'm going to mix things up today, and I'm going to do the children's message or the time for all ages from up here, and I'm going to try to do the message for everybody from down below a little bit later. That's the tightrope park. Now last week I shared with everybody about Moses and how Moses was a reluctant leader, how he said, "Not me, Lord. Not me. How about somebody else?" Well, today I want to talk to you about a woman who saw Moses as a hero, as a role model. Her name was Rosa Parks. And 60 years ago, she was living in Montgomery, Alabama. Now, Rosa loved to hear the story of Moses and the Hebrew slaves leading them to freedom. But as she grew older and got bigger and got taller, She began to look around at the world in which she was living, and she realized something. She realized that her people were not free. Everywhere Rosa looked, there were signs that said, "Whites only." Now, you see, at that time in Alabama and many parts of the country, African American people weren't given the same rights as others. They weren't allowed sometimes to play in parks. They weren't allowed to sit at lunch counters and eat there just like everyone else. They weren't allowed the same kind of education. And in a city where most people didn't drive cars and instead rode the bus to do their shopping or to go to and from work, African Americans were told that they had to give up their seats to white people and sit in the back of the bus. Rosa believed that everyone should be treated fairly, and she knew in her heart of hearts that those rules were wrong. And a lot of other people agreed with her. One day, Rosa got on the bus after a long day's work and sat down near the front, and the bus went down the street a few blocks and stopped to let on a lot of other people, most of whom were white. And they got on board, and the bus driver then got up and did what he usually does, which is to tell the black passengers of the bus that they had to move on down to the back. Everyone obeyed the driver except Rosa. And the bus driver told her again to get up and move down to the back of the bus, and still she sat there. When the bus driver threatened to call the police, Rosa sat still in her chair. And finally, the bus driver did call for the police, and they came, and they arrested Rosa. They took her down to the police station, and they fined her $14. A very simple act, sitting still. But she had started something that the police could not stop. With Rosa's example, the black people of Montgomery, Alabama, decided they would not ride the buses at all until the black folks were allowed to ride wherever they wanted. The bus company counted on the fares of all the people to ride the buses, but they didn't budge about the rules for a long time. Black people of Montgomery found ways to get to and from work and to the shopping and to where they needed to go, but it took them almost a year of boycotting the buses until the bus company finally gave in and took down their whites-only sign. And Rosa, when she got back on the bus, sat at the front and enjoyed the ride. Rosa Parks had started a movement to lead her people from oppression towards equality. And Rosa was not so much a reluctant leader than she was a reluctant hero. Rosa was a well-known person in the community. She was highly respected. She had been working for the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People for a long time, and she knew what the risks she was taking. But she always said that she was just a small part of the greater movement, that there were others who did so many more important things. But often it's the first person to take the first step that matters. A small part of the world, but an important one. Invite the children's choir to come up again and sing for us. A small part of the world. So we all have a great joy this morning to have you here with us. And this is a time when we have the opportunity to share of our joys and our sorrows. For those thoughts that have been shared and those that remain in our hearts, let's just take a brief moment of silence. And join me in the spirit of meditation and prayer. Spirit of life, creative force, be in us now and always as we work to heal this world, the only world we will ever know. We live in gratitude for the wonderful world that sustains us and in humility, knowing we are but a small part of the greater whole. Give us the strength and courage to honor our differences and forgive each other's shortcomings, understanding that hope lies only in an ever-broadening sense of community. May we find that courage to face our fears, the determination to weather difficult times, and the faith to know that peace and justice can prevail, even if it is not within our own lifetimes. Let's sit together again in silence as we consider these things and those joys and sorrows we hold close in our hearts. Amen. So, one more from the Lehigh Children's Chorus and the response to our meditation this morning. What a wonderful world. Thank you. Thank you so much. The choir is going to leave us now as they have other assignments today. So thanks once again for being with us and for making beautiful music.
Hello. Okay. We believe there is a place at the table for each and every child of earth. Oh, wait. Yeah, we have to do the responsive reading. Oh. Okay. Okay. We believe there's a place at the table for each and every child of earth. We believe in the giver of life We believe the giver of life has given many names and loves the givers of all of them. We are more interested in getting heaven into people now than getting people into heaven later. We believe religious scriptures are open doors rather than sealed vaults. We believe there's still some holy writ yet to be written. We believe true evangelism. Dear God. Yeah, is more preaching practice than practiced preaching. We believe peace and justice are not just words we form with our lips, but realities we shape with our lives. We believe in one race, the human race. We believe we are one with stars and trees and tigers and rivers and all the stuff of life. We believe our lives are all about growing hearts that love, minds that seek, and hands that serve.
Good morning. My name is Lisette Morales Di Pasquale, and we are going to be singing today the song De Colores. And the song is a beloved Latin American song that is taught to the children in school. It's one of the first songs that the kids learn when they start preschool. So, and it's one of Heather's de Rocher's favorite songs. So we've been practicing that in the Chalice Children. And I'm sorry, I forgot to say that I'm the assistant teacher along with Alice for the Chalice Children. The song also was inspirational for the farm workers movement in California. And Heather is not here today. She's in California because at the memorial of her father's, he passed away last year on Martin Luther King. So I would like to dedicate this song to his memory, Dr. Davis. And I'm not really good at singing, so I'm going to ask... I'm going to teach you the words. I'm sorry. I'm going to teach you the words in Spanish. You want me just to say them? Okay. And I'm going to say the words, and you repeat after me. The words are in the insert, and the Spanish verse, what is it called? All the way at the bottom. De colores se visten los campos en la primavera. De colores se visten los campos en la primavera. De colores son los pajaritos que vienen de afuera. De colores son los pajaritos que vienen de afuera. De colores es el arco iris que vemos lucir. De colores es el arco iris que vemos lucir. Y por eso los grandes amores de muchos colores me gustan a mí. y por eso los grandes amores de muchos colores me gustan a mí.
You got that?
Yeah. I'm not really good at singing, so I'm going to ask, can we have a Steve?
Well, Richard's going to play and everybody's going to sing once they
Okay.
stand up.
Okay,
All right.
and I'm going to stand back.
So will everybody rise and join us in singing. The hymn is on the insert. If you like reading music, it's also number 305 in the hymnal. We'll sing all 4 verses in your insert. First 3 verses are easy. Again. All the colors abound for the whole world around and for everyone under the sun. All the colors, yes, the black and the white and the red and the brown and the yellow. All the colors as people will smile and shake hands and say hello. Primavera, de colores son los pajaritos que vienen afuera. De colores es arcoíris que debemos lucir, y por eso los grandes amores de muchos colores me gustan a mí, y por eso los grandes amores de muchos colores me gustan a mí. Awesome. You kept the volume up anyway. Today we have a split the plate offering. Half of your gifts this morning go to our congregation, and half go this week to the Haitian Coalition of Collier County, which was created in December 2006, and one of its co-founders was one of our members, Jim Lancaster. The Haitian Coalition of Collier County seeks to raise awareness of issues and problems that prevail in this community and work with community leaders and interested parties in order to develop solutions to address those issues. The specific objectives and purposes of the HCCC are to enhance the quality of life for the men, women, and children of the Haitian community by establishing an organization that provides information and enables access to services and resources not currently available to these communities. So I hope that you will give generously to the plate this morning and to the Haitian Coalition of Collier County. I need some help. I need 7 people to help me because, you know, when you do something from the floor like this, you need little reminders to help you. So, Lulu, here. Miranda, okay. Henry, would you help? Jack? Jennifer, would you help? All right. Sally, would you help? Thank you. Thank you, Lauren. Okay, so here we go. This is my brief Martin Luther King Day message for you. Number 1, what does number 1 say? Number 1, Martin Luther King Jr. Martin Luther King Jr. was an inspiration to me. He led a movement called the Civil Rights Movement. Civil Rights Movement was a whole bunch of people who did a lot of things to move the life and quality of life for African Americans forward. Martin Luther King was an eloquent man, which meant he spoke very well. But he was number one, of many who did so much work to make things better in this country. Number two. Number two says more than one. And the name under that is Ella Baker. Now, you may have never heard the name Ella Baker before, but Ella Baker was a civil rights worker born in 1903, and she was working civil rights long before anybody was aware there was a civil rights movement. In fact, the reason Ella is here as number two and under more than one is that after the Montgomery bus boycott, Martin Luther King Jr., in fact, himself was a little reluctant to lead. He was a young minister with a young family, and he was ready to just sort of have a little quiet life for a while after a year-long struggle to create justice in Montgomery. But Ella Baker, civil rights worker for a long time, convinced Martin that he needed to continue. She recognized the strength of his leadership. And she she persuaded him to continue the fight, to go to Atlanta, to form the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, and to begin a movement that made a wider difference in the world. Number three, Selma. Selma, Alabama is a little town 500 miles from here. And Selma, Alabama somehow, in some way, became the center of the voting rights struggle for Black Americans in the South. And the people there were upset, just like Rosa Parks was upset at the quality of their life, and they understood that if they could just get the vote, they could make a difference in their own town. And so, with the help of people like Ella Baker and the movement that she helped start, and Martin Luther King Jr., who came to preach, and a lot of other people, the folks of Selma started to demonstrate. And they started to demonstrate against the unfair voting requirements that were there in the South and in Selma. Number four, Joanne Bland. I first made the acquaintance of Joanne Bland a year and a half ago. Joanne Bland was 11 years old at the time, in 1965, at the time of Selma and the demonstrations and the crossing of the Edmund Pettus Bridge. But by the time she was 11, she had been arrested 14 times for demonstrating for voter rights. Joanne Bland was first a reluctant participant. She was young, but she did look up to her older sister. And her older sister and her grandmother dragged her to those mass meetings in Selma. And there she heard people preach about what it meant to have the right to vote, what it meant to have control of your own destiny. And so Joanne took up that flame, that gauntlet, and she demonstrated and was arrested. She tells lots of stories about the South when she was young. One of them has to do with when she was about 8 years old. This is to let you know what life was like. When Joanne was 8, her grandmother opened a package from Joanne's aunt, who lived in Detroit. And her aunt would often send down clothes for the family in Selma. And at the bottom of that box was a beautiful blue dress. And Joanne, who was one of the younger, never got the best clothes in the box that her aunt sent down. But this day, this dress, this beautiful blue dress that swirled when she swirled, she was so excited. It was for her. But she didn't have shoes to go with it. There weren't shoes in the box to go with it. And so her grandmother was going to take her downtown to buy shoes for this new dress. She was so excited. So Joanne and her grandmother walked hand in hand into the department store, And Joanne spied the shoes that she wanted. She dropped her grandmother's hand and ran and reached for those shoes and put them on her feet. And her grandmother quickly went and grabbed her hand back, but it was too late. The shopkeeper came over and demanded that her grandmother pay for those shoes because black children weren't allowed to try on shoes in the department store. The shoes were way too big for Joanne. And as much as her grandmother pleaded to have the right size, because Joanne had tried the shoes on and that she was a little black girl, they had to buy those shoes. So Joanne learned very early what it was like to not be equal in society. She tells the story of crossing the Edmund Pettus Bridge on that Sunday in March of 1965. She was in the middle of the bridge, and what they expected to happen was that as all the people who were demonstrating moved across the bridge to the other side, she expected that they would be stopped by the police, that they would be told to turn back, and that people would stop and they would then kneel down and pray. But what happened this time was that the police told them to stop, and then the police attacked. They attacked on horses and with dogs, and they turned the people around and they routed them across the bridge, and Joanne remembers how scared she was. And the rout didn't end there. It went on all through the night in the communities. I'm sure aided and abetted by those citizens of the town and the area that were against the black movement. She remembers that. And she remembers when a lot of people came to Selma to help. And when the judgment came that finally they had to march, they had the right to march, and that the same people who attacked them had to protect them from Selma to Montgomery, she was there and she walked as an 11-year-old from Selma to Montgomery. She remembers everyone gathering for that. And when she took us to that place where everyone gathered, she asked us to look down at the ground and pick up a stone. And this is the stone that I picked up, a little teeny stone. And she said, think about that stone. And think about who that was here in 1965 might have stood in that. It could have been my stone, she said. I might have stood there. Or Martin Luther King Jr., or maybe someone you know that was there. And I did know someone was there. My hero, one of my heroes, John Wells, the minister of my church in Lexington, Massachusetts, was in Selma. He walked across the bridge into Montgomery. Maybe he stood on this stone. But Joanne said, don't just put that stone in your pocket and just leave it there as a memento. Keep it close by you so that you can see it every day and remind you of what sacrifices people made and what sacrifice you might need to make in the cause of freedom. Joanne Bland was one of my heroes. Number 5, today. Today in the United States, there are still struggles to be won. We know that African Americans are not treated fairly in this country still, even though the laws are better. We know that attitudes about people whose skin color is different than ours are sometimes questionable. We know that people who work in the farm industry and the food industry are not treated well. There's a lot of struggles. There's a lot of struggles in this world and in this country that we need to pay attention to and we need to act on. 6, tomorrow. Just like we're doing a visioning exercise for our congregation, we need to vision what this world is going to be. If we don't envision what this world can be, if we don't envision that beloved community that Martin Luther King Jr. talked about, if we don't envision it, we don't see it, if we don't feel it in our hearts, how are we going to get there? It's important to think about tomorrow and where we're going and how we want to get there. And 7, UU principles. In this little book written by somebody named Jennifer Dant, we list the principles that our kids learn in RE. Each person is important. Be kind in all you do. We're free to learn together and search for what is true. All people need a voice. Build a fair and peaceful world. We care for Earth lifeboat. The 7 principles that are on the wall in the foyer, in the front of your hymnals, should also be in your heart. They are our covenant with ourselves and with the other Unitarian Universalist communities. They should be your guide in the way to live, and they are not just something written on paper. They are something we need to live every single day, today and tomorrow. So I'm running late again today. But I will invite you all to consider our principles, what we're celebrating today, what we'll celebrate tomorrow, and hopefully with our final hymn that Steve Espinoza is going to come up and lead. Where's Steve? There he is. You will feel the inspiration to stand up today and tomorrow and go to the parade and march with us tomorrow on Martin Luther King Day, downtown Naples. Steve.
Hi, everybody. Last year we had such a wonderful turnout at the parade. We had about 70 of our UUs out there marching and riding in cars. This parade tomorrow, I'm hoping we'll have 100. Anyway, we carried our wonderful big Standing on the Side of Love banner, which is in bright yellow along with our shirts. Tomorrow, if you come out, please, if you're planning to come, we'll have these little yellow song sheets. We're going to be singing the chorus along with This Little Light of Mine as we're marching along the parade route. It was wonderful last year. We had people singing along with us. This is a great opportunity to come out and just share your UU spirit and to make a difference in the community. So anyway, if you turn in your teal hymn books to number 1014, we will sing Standing on the Side of Love. And as our banners, these are folks from our Social Justice Committee that are going to bring in the banner. Okay? Ready? The promise of the Spirit, you can rise. Faith, hope, and love abide. And so every soul is blessed and made whole. The truth in our hearts is our guide. We are standing on the side of love and joined together as hearts beat as one. Emboldened by faith, we dare to proclaim we are standing. You can drop the tongues if you want. Sometimes we build a barrier to keep love tightly bound, corrupted by fear, unwilling to hear, denying the beauty we found. We are standing on the side of love and joined together as hearts beat as one. Emboldened by faith, we dare to proclaim we are standing on the side of love. A brand new day is dawning when love will not divide. Reflections of grace in every embrace, fulfilling the vision divine. We are standing on the side of love and joined together as hearts beat as one. Emboldened by faith, we dare to proclaim we are standing on the side. One more chorus. We are standing on the side of love, hands joined together as hearts beat as one, emboldened by faith in every embrace, fulfilling the vision divine. We are standing on the side of love, hands joined together as hearts beat as one, emboldened by faith, we dare to proclaim, we are standing on the side of love. We are standing on the side of love. Yeah. Good job, everybody. All right. And now we have some closing words from Martin Luther King Jr. The end is reconciliation. The end is redemption. The end is a creation of the beloved community. It is this type of spirit and this type of love that can transform opposers into friends. It is this type of understanding, goodwill, that will transform the deep gloom of the old age into the exuberant gladness of the new age. It is this love that may well be the salvation of our civilization. Go in peace and come join us in the parade.